While Democrats screamed racist for years, Trump just celebrated Black History Month by highlighting something they can't argue with: cold, hard economic results. The same politicians who called him every single name in the book are now watching him deliver wins for Black families. And what they're saying behind closed doors will shock you. So this isn't just about political theater, it's about your family's future. When Trump focuses on economic achievements during Black History Month, he's sending a message that results matter more than rhetoric. For Black families, this means celebrating real progress, record low unemployment, business opportunities, and school choice victories. And for Democrats, this is their worst nightmare: a Republican president actually delivering on the promises they've made for decades. Politically, this exposes the left's strategy of division, while Trump focuses on unity through achievement. And the contrast, it couldn't be any clearer. So speaking of delivering results, there's breaking news most people completely missed. So breaking news is breaking quietly, and most people missed it. While headlines focused elsewhere, the Trump administration just released a document that could fundamentally reshape the U.S. mining sector. This is real, and it's unfolding right now under Executive Order 14241. And this goes far beyond typical policy changes. We're talking about domestic mineral independence, reducing reliance on hostile nations, and creating American jobs. And smart investors already positioning themselves. And Vizsla Copper is at the center of this transformation. Their Nevada Copper project sits perfectly aligned with Trump's America First mining initiative. And while others are debating politics, Vizsla is extracting the metals that power our economy. And the timing is not coincidental, it's strategic. This administration understands that economic strength starts with resource independence. So get the full briefing at VizslaCorp.com before this story goes mainstream. And that's the kind of forward-thinking policy that creates real opportunities for all Americans. So here's what's really happening. Let's get into this. Trump is rewriting the playbook on how Republicans engage with Black communities. Instead of apologizing for success, he's celebrating it. That Texas mother who lost her son to drugs and failing schools, she's praising Trump's school choice initiative. The D.C. grandmother whose grandson was murdered, she's thanking Trump for listening when Democrats ignored her. Let's get into the posts, guys. These are the receipts that we need to have out there. From Secretary Linda McMahon, she's doing a wonderful job. At the White House earlier today, a mother shared her moving story about the life-changing impact of school choice. A president of the United States is expanding school choice to ensure every family has access to quality education for their children, regardless of their zip code. Thank God. I grew up on the south side of Chicago. I know all about it.
Well, I ditto. To God be the glory. And we're grateful for our president. He's doing some tremendous work. And I want to remind those that don't know that this was prophesied. So you weren't supposed to have the second term when it came about. This is your season. And God said that it was going to be rough the first 2 years and that things were going to happen. But then the last 2 years are going to be great.
Well, I hope
and
so.
Yes, you're going to do some tremendous things. And so for that, we thank you. On behalf of all the mothers all around the world, I'm from Texas. I live in a zip code that I didn't have an opportunity to have a choice to go to school. And so when I raised my children, I wanted a better opportunity for them. And I'm so grateful to ACE scholarships and all the doors that the president is opening for education. My son was in a school that he didn't have any voice, and he found drugs in school. And he died. And so I'm here today to just show my appreciation for all the moms around the world. We have a choice now. This choice is so important to mothers. I have a child that, because I had a choice, she's in private school. She's thriving. She's thriving. She's going to be an anesthesiology nurse, and she's doing great. And ACE scholarships was a big part of that. Changing education changes everything.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Changing education
Yes.
changes everything. In my zip code, it feels like we were locked in a cage. And being locked in a cage and can't get out. And because of all of the things that you're doing for education, now we can get out and soar. Our children can have a chance to be prosperous, just like other children. And I thank you for that. This is a great opportunity. So on behalf of all the mothers all around the world, I stand here and I give you your flowers while you can still get them. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Give me a hand. And this is here.
Look how beautiful. What a beautiful thing. Thank you.
So I will say everybody always talks about doing things, right? They always talk, oh, we're going to fix education. We're going to fix this. We're going to fix that. Trump just did it. Linda McMahon, everybody's criticizing Linda and Trump for wanting to get rid of the Department of Education. But guess what? Since it was established in the 70s, our grades have gone down. We went from one of the best educated countries in the entire world to like, what, 30? You know, it's sad. There's third world countries that are better in math than us right now. That's crazy. And for the people that are locked in those zip codes, giving them school choice and allowing the voucher system where that mom can say, hey, this school is really bad. I don't want my kids to go here. I want to take the apportioned amount of taxes that is going for me for my kid to go to school, $1,200, $1,500, whatever it is, $2,500 that they pay in taxes that are apportioned to her student, and shift that to the school of her choice. And they're letting them do that. It's incredible. So that's how her daughter became an anesthesiologist. That's how all of these things are happening, because Trump said, you know what? We're going to do it. And they did. They didn't back down, folks. They did not back down. So the education opener sets up the broader celebration, but watch how quickly this turns into a defensive posture when Trump's record gets challenged. From Rapid Response 47, we have radical left lunatics and disgusting fake news hacks have been saying this since he became down the golden escalator, because they can't stand the fact he sees people as one thing, Americans. Let's watch.
Donald Trump is also very old and a racist and a neo-Nazi.
Yeah, you know, the education system clearly failed her too, because she's a communist and she's going to call him a racist and a neo-Nazi. There are people, you know, he was on Oprah's talk show before he ran for president. He was friends with Jesse Jackson. He was friends with the Reverend guy. I forgot his name, the short guy. You know what I'm saying? Al Sharpton, I think it was. He was friends with all these people. They all loved him. Hillary Clinton even endorsed Trump to run for president, saying we need somebody like Trump to be president. And as soon as he flipped that D to an R, they lost their collective minds. And he was a racist and everything bad. And then they fed these to our kids, which is why we see them running out in the streets. We're going to get to that later. It says this defensive response is reacting to press room confrontation that's about to get heated. Let's stay with this, guys. From Rapid Response again. It says, just ask perhaps the dumbest question in the history of the press briefings. I saw this. Like, what they're questioning if Trump was ever called a racist. It's insane. Why? Like, even Caroline's like, you're going to see her just like, are you being serious? Let's see.
Today, in his statement about Jesse Jackson, the president said, despite the fact that I'm falsely and consistently called a racist by the scoundrels and lunatics on the radical left, Democrats all, it was always my pleasure to help Jesse along the way. Where or when does the president believe he's been falsely called racist?
You're kidding, right? I will pull you plethora of examples. I'm going to get my team in that room to start going through the internet of radical Democrats throughout the year.
I want to play her face again real quick. I'm going to go back a couple seconds. Let's see here. Like, do you see just like the look of like, are you serious?
Here's Ed, who have accused.
Come on, load it.
This president falsely of being a racist. And I'm sure there's many people in this room and on network television across the country who have accused him of the same. In fact, I know that because I've seen it with my own eyes. And the president very much looks forward to having an event later this afternoon at 3 p.m. to celebrate Black History Month and to talk about how his policies are advancing opportunity and prosperity for all Americans through record tax cuts, through the Trump accounts that all Americans can access regardless of race. These are a great thing for the next generation of Americans. The president has also awarded hundreds of millions of dollars in additional funding to strengthen educational outcomes at historically black colleges and universities across the country. Again, the president is protecting the hard-earned benefits of the 2.4 million black veterans who honorably served in our nation's armed forces by reducing the black backlog of veterans waiting for their VA benefits and for their home loans through the Department of Veterans Affairs. So there is a lot this president has done for all Americans regardless of race, and he has absolutely been falsely called and smeared as a racist, and I'm happy to provide you those receipts, and we gladly will right after this briefing.
So the fake news is sitting there in the briefing room with the press secretary of the United States. It's like, when have we ever called Trump a racist? He's never been falsely accused. Come on. That's every 3 seconds. That's every chant on every corner that's been happening since 2016. That's these kids that are in school are being taught by the teachers that Trump is a racist, and that's what racism looks like. Trump is lifting people out of poverty. He made historically underutilized business development zones, hub zones, where you can go into a zip code and get extra portions from Congress or from federal funding to help lift up that community, get business loans and put it out there. He has done more for the black community than most of the presidents for the last 40 years. And these people want to sit here and falsely accuse him of being racist and then try to deny it? Come on. I can't even process how stupid that is. Like, we're going to call it what, racist gate next? And like try to sit here, oh, we never did that. Nobody said that. Come on. We just showed you AOC saying it. It's the talking point every 30 seconds on CNN and MSNBC. And they want us to sit here and believe that that's not true? Come on. But the press secretary's sarcasm here transitions from hostile media questions to Trump's bringing out his strongest defenders with personal testimonies. From Rapid Response 47, I just want to say to everybody, as we celebrate the special day, not only in Black history, but American history, the Lord has been so gracious to us. He's been faithful, and at POTUS has been a tremendous leader. Let's see.
Just very briefly, thank you, Mr. President. We are so grateful for your leadership and for your heart for America. And Dr. Carson, who is a tremendous just leader, servant leader, and been a great mentor to me. And, you know, I never thought that I would see the day where I'm standing between the president and Dr. Ben Carson. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And so I just want to say to everyone that's here, you know, as we celebrate this special day in not only Black history, but American history, this year that we've been here, you know, under President Trump, the Lord has been so gracious to us, and he's been faithful, and the president has been a tremendous leader in his work ethic, his heart for people. And when he says America first, he really does mean America first. Yeah. And so, and to be able to stand on the shoulders of Dr. Ben Carson and for the president to trust Dr. Carson at his word is truly humbling for me. And so to stand now as the servant leader and the secretary of HUD, I'm grateful to the Lord. I'm grateful to the president and Dr. Carson. And I promise you we will continue to do good work and to make not just housing affordable and everybody achieve the American dream, but really to bring transformation. And so that those that are in our country who depend on subsidies and this, that, and the other will get off of that and live a life of self-sustainability. So God bless y'all.
You know, the Trump administration, the first one, he put in Dr. Ben Carson, who's probably one of the smartest neurosurgeons, smartest people around. He took his presidential opponent in the primary and stuck him in the housing and urban development because Dr. Ben Carson knew where all the bodies were. He knew what actually had to happen to revamp that entire program that we had, the housing and urban development sector. And they went through that and they fixed it up. And it was so good, they didn't even go backwards in the Biden administration. That's how you know how good of a job they did. And they came back in, they saw where they were short, put Ben Carson back in, there's undersecretary, and they've really just knocked it out of the park. And when you're elected to be president or vice president or a senator, you're not there to represent, you know, just one party or one person. You're there to represent everybody equally. That's what your job is. You're a representative in a republic. And President Trump really lives that out. He's not making these decisions, you know, just for one person or one group of people. He's doing this for everybody because he knows it's going to benefit everybody, even Democrats or liberals or the people that want to be socialists, whatever. He doesn't care. He's benefiting all Americans. That's what America First is about. We are for America, not anything else. So this religious endorsement pivots us from defense to offense. Trump's team is rolling out heavy hitters to make their case. Rapid Response 47 again from Leo Terrell. Good guy. We have the hottest country in our lifetime, and I want to make sure the mainstream media knows this. President Trump was president who fully funded historically Black colleges and universities. You know, Biden could have done that. Sorry, no, Obama didn't fund the Black colleges. He let them almost go bankrupt. They almost had no money. They were going to close. They lost all of their federal funding. What did Trump do? Gave them the cash. Let's see.
I'd like to also thank senior counsel to the Assistant Attorney General. He's a fantastic man. He's been my friend for a long time, Leo Terrell. There's no better. We have time, right? Do we have time? Yes? Anybody have to go? Like, come on up here, Leo. Get up here. This guy, he says it like it is. I like Leo. Come here, Leo. Look at you. Spry. 2.0. Leo 2.0.
Let me just thank you very much, Mr. President. First of all, We are living under the administration of the greatest president in our lifetime. And we have the hottest country in our lifetime. And I want to make sure the mainstream media knows this, because you represent the people who basically counter what the mainstream media has done. President Trump was the president who fully funded historically black colleges and universities. President Trump took the lead and performed criminal justice reform. President Trump made sure that we had opportunity zones. Let me close by saying this. This country is at a crossroads, and we have the right president at the right time. And if you want school choice, like I know you do, President Trump wants it. If you want a law and order society and secure border, President Trump wants that. And more importantly, I say this because this is the greatest country on the planet. American citizens should decide American election. Vote for the SAVE Act.
Couldn't be any better on that one. And it's, again, it all comes down to is doing the job that they're elected to do. And whether that's, historically underutilized business zones or the housing, urban development, and funding the black colleges, even though it's technically against the whole DEI initiative that we've been getting rid of, because it's one of the greatest things ever. If you want to have true equal, it should be on merit, on who you are, how good you are as a person. But we did promise we would fund those things, so I'm glad the Trump administration did that. And Leo Terrell's economic arguments are building the foundation for Trump's own victory lap of what's coming up. So the White House pardons are from Alice Marie Freed. She's another wonderful human being. Only in America can there be a story like my story, and President Trump is the only president who had the courage to hire somebody like me, somebody who received a second chance. She is the pardon czar. Check it out.
Feeling was mutual. I fell in love with this man, with his heart, with his heart for this country, with his heart to really bring America back to the form of greatness that it deserved. And that's exactly what he has done. My story is truly a Joseph story. This president right here, President Donald Trump, brought me from the prison pit to the White House. Only in America could there be a story like my story. And President Trump is the only president who would have had the courage to bring someone like me, someone who received a second chance, but who knows more than someone who has sit among the captives, than someone who has been in captivity themselves. I did not get comfortable in my own freedom, but I went back. As Harriet Tubman said she did, she went back to draw many others into freedom. And President Trump has listened to those recommendations. There's so much more to come, because when you see me, you see a miracle. You see hope. You see second chances. And you see someone who is willing to roll up their sleeves and do the work, do the hard work to help individuals gain their freedom. President Trump did something historic in his first term. He signed the First Step Act into law. And for that, over 40,000, and that number is low, over 40,000 individuals have come home to their families early. And many of those were Black Americans who had no hope. This president right here, as you look out upon this sea of Black Americans, this president hears you. This president cares for you. Don't let anyone tell you that this president right here, Donald Trump, is not for Black America, because he is. I'm standing here today as a testament to how he feels about Black Americans. There has never been a position like this. I don't know if there ever will be before. But I worked with him in his first term, and I'm proud to now officially have the title to make it happen. Let's get real with the realness. Let's get behind President Trump who truly has turned our nation around and made us the envy of every country in the world. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, God, for recognizing and raising up this man to be the leader of the free world. I love you.
Amen. Her story is so incredible. And to go from where she was to where she is right now is just incredible. But you have to be on the other side of it. She tried to get pardoned for a long time. So she learned all the roadblocks and the things that go into it. And now she's at the table. She was in jail for a long time for some charges. I don't remember the exact charges, but she received a pardon. Now she's part of the pardon process. And he's putting people in that are subject matter experts. And when you're in that system and you're trying to fight out of it and if you feel wrongfully in or you're in for too long or something, she's there advocating for people. And that's what Trump does. He puts people that are subject matter experts who have the heart to get the job done and do it tirelessly. He puts them in place. And Alice Marie Johnson's personal story adds emotional weight before Trump himself takes the mic with historical context. Rapid Response 47 again. Nearly 10,000 African Americans fought the patriotic cause in the Revolutionary War, helping secure our independence in every generation since. Let's see what Trump had to say.
Nearly 10,000 African Americans fought for the patriot cause in the Revolutionary War. Did you know that? 10,000, and it's actually a number, I've heard higher than that, helping secure our independence in every generation since, from the Buffalo Soldiers to the Tuskegee Airmen. Black Americans have stepped forward to defend the flag and to defend our country like few others, really, like few others. And you've never really been given the recognition that you should get for that. You know that, Ben? I don't think a lot of people have given the kind of recognition, but everyone knows all about the Tuskegee Airmen. They were great and amazing. The Buffalo Soldiers. Do you know the Buffalo Soldiers? Good stuff, right? From jazz to the blues. That you do get recognition for. Jazz, the blues, from rock and roll to rap. Black artists like Chuck Berry, Muddy Waters. How about Nicki Minaj? Do we love Nicki Minaj?
So don't leave Nicki out.
I love Nicki Minaj. She was here a couple of weeks ago. She's so beautiful. Her skin's so beautiful. I said, Nicki is so beautiful. Her nails are like that long. I said, Nicki, are they real? She said, she didn't want to get into that. But she was so beautiful and so great. And she gets it, more importantly, frankly, she gets it.
Rolling.
But black leaders from Frederick Douglass to Martin Luther King, right? Little relative over here, have made our country freer, and really what they've really done is made life more just.
He cracks everybody up, man. Even in that whole room, everybody's just laughing at what he's saying about the long nails and everything else. They're just dying. So Trump's historical framing here is setting up his pivot to concrete policy achievements. Let's watch for the numbers. He talked about his first term, honored to deliver unprecedented victories for Black Americans. Let's see. All right. Slow internet today. Apologies.
During my first term, I was honored to deliver unprecedented victories for Black Americans and all Americans, frankly. But Black Americans, I single-handedly secured record long-term funding for. I told you, the historically Black colleges and universities. I created nearly 9,000 opportunity zones with our great secretary. And also, I think we have to do, as I said before, Tim Scott really, he came to me with that idea, and we put it into use, right, Scott? And I signed historic criminal justice reform into law. We got criminal justice reform. Just so you know, for 30 years, you, more than any other group of people, has been trying to get criminal justice reform, and they couldn't do it. And a group of people came to my office, and they asked me to do it. They couldn't get it. They needed 5 conservative votes in the Senate, and conservative was 5 conservative white votes in the Senate. And of the 5, all 5 of them were totally against, and I called them up, and they were great. They were great. And one of them was Senator John Kennedy, to be honest with you. He was not in favor of it, and I spoke to him, and he was 100%. He's a great senator, a great guy. and you know that he was a tremendous help. So we got criminal justice reform done and approved, and nobody thought it could be done. And it's no wonder that in 2024 we won more African American votes than any Republican presidential candidate
and Hispanic.
in history.
And that's the whole thing. Like the Democrats and the CNN and MSNBC, they all don't want you to know that he gained massive grounds, which is why they're freaking out. They're freaking out that Trump has gained so much ground. The Republican Party's gained so much ground with the African-American community, the Hispanic community. It's because they're starting to see through all of these lies. And again, just because we love Nicki Minaj, I wouldn't let my kids listen to her music yet. Maybe one day she'll make better choices on it. I forgot to add that earlier. But these policy achievements are the setup for Trump's big economic victory claims that follow. Rapid Response 47, POTUS is talking about African-American employment has increased by 182,000, the highest ever. Let's see.
More Americans are working today than any time in history. And since I took office, African-American employment has increased by 182,000, the highest ever. Jobs, 182,000. Nearly 500,000 black Americans have rejoined the labor force since we took office. 500,000 wages for workers have increased $1,000, $2,000, even $3,000, and even sometimes in some cases $5,000 a year. That's faster than inflation. So wages have gone up at a much faster clip than inflation. We took over the worst inflation in the history of our country. They say 48 years or 49 years. I said that, I said inflation under Biden has went up more than at any time in the history of our country. They said, he's not right about that. It's 49 years. I said, all right, I'll accept that too. Actually, I think it sounds worse, Harmeet. I think for some reason, because when you say the worst ever, but when you say the worst in 49 years, I'll take that, right? The fake news got me on that one. I think I was right, by the way, but I'll accept 48 or 49 years. But for the first time in many years, 100% of all net job creation is going to American-born citizens. Think of that.
That's what 100%. I voted for.
100%.
That's what I voted for.
And in the last administration was going mostly to illegal aliens that came in, many of them murderers and others.
Or the government sector. One of the things you didn't highlight is that they've shrunk the size of the federal government, and most new job reports, when they had to do something, the Biden administration would just hire 30,000 people for whatever random agency that they needed, and they use that to hyperinflate their job numbers. So this was all private sector growth, meaning like not government, like, normal factory jobs, things like that are out there, or, Walmart, whatever. Those are all added jobs to the economy. And before they would sit out, and the Biden administration would tout that they were hiring, 300,000 jobs are grown. Yeah, because he just hired 300,000 people for various agencies and increased their budgets. Also, they were fact-checking Trump on the 49 years. When you have the full actualized inflation numbers, it was a lot higher than what they showed on paper. So Trump was more correct than not correct on that one. So the employment statistics lead perfectly into real-world success stories from actual business owners. Another one from Rapid Response. We are talking about, welcomes to the podium, small business owners seeing the benefits of the Trump economy. Let's see.
I can't do anything first but say to God be the glory. Amen. I have no business being here other than him having me here. And so, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to preach. I'm going to settle myself. Thank you so much for inviting me and having me here. It's such an honor to be here today. Hebrews 11:1. People ask me all the time, why did I even open a business? Why did I even call it Hebrews 11:1? Hebrews 11:1 is my very favorite scripture. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. That scripture has walked with me. It has grown me from a little girl on up. Not having no longer my mother here, no longer having my father here, my husband not having his mother and his father here. We opened Hebrews 11:1 with no funding, no money, no big family investors, no business loans, didn't have great credit. It was us and faith in God. That was 7 years ago. But I ran that business with just myself and one employee. Then here comes no tax on tips. I was able to hire 7 more employees just by what she did. Not only that, I was able to open a second location on our college campus. Things are just going off simply because having now faith. And so I love the fact of that scripture. Now, I say all of that I'm trying to stick to my little written down thing that I wrote. I don't know how to do that so well.
You got to do the weave
but
and
as a
flow
small
like
business
Trump
owner,
does. Got to weave
I
it in.
understand how critical support is. I understand that you have to have the right people that make the right policies for us as small business owners. So no tax on tips has been an extreme lesson for me and my business. Not just mine, but I know so many people across the country. I know a lot of us don't want to talk about the good part of it. We only want to share the negative, but I'm here today to tell you you've done a great thing. Thank you for just loving on us and showing us that even in small town Hope, Arkansas, and I have got to say this, I have the best governor in the world.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders is doing a great job out there. So the business owner testimony transitions as the most emotional moments of the event, personal tragedy and triumph. And the no tax on tip is huge. No tax on overtime is huge too. And they're saying that it's going to be the biggest rebate season or refund season ever on taxes. So pretty much we give the government, interest-free loans for a year and they give us some of the money back, right? So watch D.C. residents who lost her grandson to violence speaks at the White House. Thank God for this president. Let's see.
Come on in.
First of all, can
Thank
I
you.
have a hug?
Yes, you can. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. That's so nice. Thank you. I like her. Please.
I like him too. One thing I like about him, he keeps it real just like Grandma. I appreciate that because I can trust him because he tells exactly how he feels and what he thinks. Thank God for this president. I am filled, my cup runneth over. Because he allowed his constituents, his people to come to my house to interview me, to talk about the murder of my grandson. It seemed like nobody cared. I'm an advocate for murder. I marched, I rallied, I pulled out other families in the District of Columbia that had murders and did not have answers. Ooh. We marched and we rallied, and nobody heard me, Democrats. Get mad at me. Until this Republican sent his constituents, his people out there to interview me in my home. Have you ever heard of a thing? Then they invited me twice before Congress to testify for the beautiful bill that's going to change crime in the district. If you kill somebody, okay, you take a life, you do life. Just that simple.
She's got
if you
fire.
do a harsh crime, you do harsh time. Just that simple. And then we need National Guard, and which we did years ago. He brought it on. I love him. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about that racist stuff. And don't be looking at me on the news hating on me because I'm standing up for somebody that deserves to be standing up for. Get off the man's back. Let him do his job. He's doing the right thing. Back up off of him. And Grandma said it.
I will say that woman stuck 10 toes in the dirt and stood on business. She was not playing around. And the Democrats, they will sit there and they will say they want to reduce crime. They want to do all these things to make things better for us as people, right? But they have to have their talking points. They don't want to do it. They want to talk about fixing things. Look at the homeless situation, California, other states. They get the more homeless, the more money they get. You go to D.C., the more crime, the more federal dollars they get. Chicago, same thing. New York City, same thing. The more crime, the more dollars. Why would they be incentivized to reduce the crime? They're not. They're incentivized to allow the crime to go on because then they get more federal dollars. It's crazy how the system is set up. But the violence victim story sets up another powerful mother's testimony about education and loss. From a Texas mom, my son was in a school where he didn't have any voice. He found drugs there and he died. I'm here today to show my appreciation. School choice is so important to mothers. Let's see.
Well, I ditto, to God be the glory. And we're grateful for our president. He's doing some tremendous work. And I want to remind those that don't know that this was prophesied. So you weren't supposed to have the second term when it came about. This is your season. And God said that it was going to be rough the first 2 years and that things were going to happen. But then the last 2 years are going to be great.
Well, I hope
and
so.
yes, you're going to do some tremendous things. And so
So I know we played that one a little bit earlier and it got back in there, but the mother's tragic story about school choice brings us full circle, setting up the final media confrontation. So here's a few more from you, from Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas. Let's see.
He is a thin-skinned, racist bully.
He has been racist.
There has never been a president in American history who's been so openly racist.
A racist in chief.
The president oftentimes
you married your brother,
to
Elon.
Very bigoted, xenophobic,
Allegedly.
Islamophobic, racist rhetoric.
You know, these people want to sit here and say all these things, and then as soon as anything comes back at them, like her marrying her brother to, get him immigrated to the United States and then setting up all the Somali fraud inside of Minneapolis, that she received campaign contributions from those people, allegedly. Same thing, Pocahontas, saying that she was Native American. That's racist. She lied. Her DNA test didn't show any of that stuff. She's like 0.0000.2%. They're all liars. They're all liars. They want to say whatever they can. But the ultimate irony, guys, Democrats spent years calling Trump racist while he was busy creating economic opportunities they never delivered on. Now he's celebrating Black History Month by highlighting those achievements. The left's worst fear is becoming reality, that results are speaking louder than their rhetoric. And Americans, we're paying attention. So this is what happens when you focus on results over rhetoric. Trump isn't playing the Democrats' game of endless accusations. He's delivering wins that speak for themselves. While they called him names, he created jobs. And while they promised change, Trump delivered it. These families aren't praising Trump because of his tweets. They're praising him because their lives were improved. And the contrast between Democrat promises and Republican results has never been more clear than it has been in the last year. And do you think focusing on economic achievements during Black History Month is more powerful than political rhetoric? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. And while you guys are there, check out the Next News merchandise. Shop for gear that celebrates American success stories at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.